Hey Canucks fans, welcome to the Line Change postgame show. The Vancouver Canucks lose to the Carolina Hurricanes by a score of 4-3 in overtime. The Canucks got absolutely outplayed by the Hurricanes in this game. There's no question about it. To say that the Hurricanes deserve to win this game is a massive understatement. They absolutely dominated the Canucks. And if it wasn't for Kevin Lankinen, this game very well could have been a 7-3 final, and they would not have come away with a point. So they have Kevin Lankinen to thank for that 1 point that they got in this game. Now, before we break down and recap this game, I want to give a quick shout out and thank you to my sponsor, Gassy Jack Art, maker of this amazing artwork you see behind my shoulder here. And you guys can check him out yourselves at GassyJackArt.com. Go ahead and check him out. He's got some great stuff. There is a link to his website in the description down below. So go ahead, as I said, check him out. Now, quick first impressions of this game. I thought the Canucks had a good first period and early parts of the second period. Obviously, it didn't get off to a good start, at least for the Canucks, despite opening the scoring. But allowing 2 goals by Svechnikov, and we'll put him a little bit later, in under a minute, and the peaking dreadful as of late, which that trend continued on that particular goal. Felt like typical Canucks hockey getting shot, which honestly we should be used to now. And it happened all last. It's happened this season, but this was pretty pitiful. But let's go ahead and take a look at the goal visualizer. So let me go ahead and bring that up. All right, let's take a look at this here. So starting off, obviously Canucks will score on their first shot of the game. Max Sasson scores his 4th of the season at 2 minutes and 45 seconds, assisted by McKieran and Linus Karlsson. So let's take a look at the visualizer. As you can see here, Sasson with the puck, moves it up to Karlsson. Karlsson moves it back up to Sasson, who moves it up to McKieran. Sasson comes down, and is able to rifle it past Peter Kochetkov. Sorry. Moving on, we have, we mentioned Svechnikov earlier. Svechnikov will score his 5th of the season at 4 minutes and 20 seconds, at 4:20, as John Shorthouse likes to mention. Assisted by Aho and Jarvis. Let's take a look at the visualizer here. There's Joseph with the puck, moves it over to Myers. Myers throws the puck over to Jarvis, who passes it to Aho, who then passes it to Svechnikov, who buries it. And that was just a terrible play by Myers. But that's our chaos giraffe right there. And then not even a minute later, Svechnikov scores his 6th of the season after a pretty brutal penalty that was called on Marcus Pettersson. Obviously, everyone saw that Svechnikov, I told you we were going to talk about him more, basically high-sticked his own player, which was Jarvis. Jarvis ended up actually leaving the game and did not return. So he high-sticked his own player, although there was a very soft cross-check by Marcus Pettersson on Jarvis when he was getting high-sticked. For some reason, the referees decided to call that. I thought it was pretty I'm going to try not to swear, pretty flippin' weak, and honestly should not have been a penalty, and it led to this power play goal by Svechnikov, assisted by Gostisbehere and Ehlers. Let's take a look at it. Right off the face-off, Pettersson misses the puck when the puck is dropped, and Ehlers doesn't even really try. Back to the point, over to Svechnikov, one-timer, boom, in the net. So it was a beautiful goal by Svechnikov. Again, we'll talk about him a lot later. And then moving on, Elias Pettersson, someone who we talk about a lot on this channel, at least recently, scores a absolute beautiful goal, shorthanded, might I add, unassisted. Let's take a look at the visualizer at 9:14 to tie this game up. As you can see, Carolina has the puck. Petey is right there at center ice. He comes in and he completely reads the play and steals it and then snipes it past Kochetkov. And guys, that's classic Petey right there. Just grip it and rip it. It's what we've been saying for so long. Just grip it and rip it, Petey. Now, I'm not going to let PD off the hook too much. As beautiful as that was, keep in mind too, there was nobody around for PD to pass it to, so he kind of had no choice but to shoot it. I just wanted to throw that in there just as a little joke. Just some funny stuff, but beautiful goal by Pettersson, and hopefully that goal kind of gets him going a little bit. Now, moving on to the second period, you have Connor Garland, who makes it 3-2 Vancouver at 3 minutes and 13 seconds, assisted by Besser and Pettersson. So PD with a multi-point night once again. Let's take a look at the goal visualizer. Besser with the puck down here in the corner, moves it back over to Hronek, who moves it over to PD. Cross-ice pass to Besser, and Besser finds Garland, who is able to one-time it in. Beautiful goal by Garland. Absolutely. And a great power play there. Beautiful pass set up from Besser and Pettersson. And you can't leave out Hronek in that as well. Moving on to so that was the lone goal in the second period. Moving on to the third period, Taylor Hall would score his fourth of the season at 6:26 of the third period to tie it all up, assisted by Gostisbehere and Svechnikov. So Svechnikov with a 3-point night. And Aho moves the puck down into the corner. Myers is there. Svechnikov is able to beat out Myers for the puck, who passes it over to, I forget who I guess Gostisbehere is number 4. Here, let me just redo that. So there's the puck down in the corner. Svechnikov is able to evade Myers, who passes it to, I believe it's Gostisbehere, who passes it to Hall, who is wide open. And you can't blame Lankinen on that. He absolutely had no chance. Now, of course, that would be the final goal of the third period. It was tied going into overtime. And then Sebastian Aho, Mr. Overtime, as a lot of people are saying, scores his 7th of the season at 4:29 of overtime, assisted by Gostisbehere. So Gostisbehere had one heck of a game tonight, as he assisted on all but one of the Carolina goals here tonight. I do hope I have Gostisbehere in fantasy. I might have to check that later. But let's take a look at the goal. Again, off the faceoff, Aho wins it. Back to Gostisbehere, who passes it to Aho, who absolutely dances around PD and is able to snipe it past Lankinen. That was some like Quinn Hughes level stuff right there with the whole, juking. So the Carolina Hurricanes win this 4-3 in overtime. Canucks at least still collect a point. Final shots in the game, 38-17 for the Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah, you heard that right. 38-17. The face-off percentage, 51.6% for the Carolina Hurricanes, 48.4% for the Canucks. So the Hurricanes were 33 for 64. The Canucks were 31 for 64. So pretty close on the face-off dot, despite PD losing the 2 crucial face-offs in overtime. Power play was 50% each. Both went 1 for 2 on the power play. Only 8 minutes of penalties in this entire game between the two teams, which is a little crazy considering there's a lot of missed calls in this game. Canucks out-hit the Hurricanes 25-21, and then they absolutely destroyed the Hurricanes on block shots. 29 block shots for the Canucks here tonight, and only 4 for the Hurricanes. 17 giveaways for the Canucks, 16 giveaways for the Hurricanes, 5 takeaways for each team. Taking a look at the season series, this was the first game between the two. Carolina wins the first game, and then they do not play again until the new year. So they play again March 4th in Vancouver. So, but there was some other stuff I wanted to go over with you guys, and I will get to your comments in just a sec. Yeah, let's go over some game stats. So I'm going to keep this screen up. We'll go over some of the game stats. Box score. Oh, right on. We're already on the Canucks. So let's take a look at this here. Brock Besser, 18 minutes and 49 seconds. Time on ice, 26 shifts, 1 shot, 2 blocks, 1 hit, 2 giveaways. He had that lone assist, so he gets a point. He was a -1. Connor Garland is a -2, but he has a goal. 19 minutes and 3 seconds, 28 shifts, 1 power play goal, 1 shot, 1 block, 1 hit. Moving down, we go over to Doc, Gerald's favorite player. No points, 14 minutes and 40 seconds, 20 shifts, 1 block, 3 hits. McKieran had an assist. He was a +1, 9 minutes and 43 seconds, 15 shifts, 1 block. Elias Pettersson, a goal and an assist, 2 points, a -1, despite having 2 points, 20 minutes and 4 seconds. That -1 is probably due to how poorly he played in overtime. 20 minutes and 4 seconds, 28 shifts, 1 shot. So he at least made it count on that 1 shot. 3 blocks. So it's great to see PD, playing defense and willing to block shots. 2 hits, 2 giveaways. Kiefer Sherwood goes pointless and is a -1, 18 minutes, 23 shifts. He had 2 blocks in this game and 7 hits. So thank you, Sherwood, for the hits. I will take that in fantasy. 1 giveaway. Atu Ratu was a +1, 1709 was his ice time, 26 shifts. He had 2 shots on goal and 1 block, 1 hit. Max Sasson, one goal, 12 minutes and 7 seconds, 20 shifts. Let me see, where am I? 1 shot and 2 giveaways. Lucas Reichel, nothing across the board, 12 minutes and 18 seconds. I did notice in the third period, Reichel did not play as much in the third period. 1 block. And then moving down to DeBrusk, he was a -1, 20 minutes and 55 seconds, 29 shifts, 1 shot, 1 block. Crap, where am I again? There we go. Then let's take a look at Evander Kane, because I got a lot to talk about when it comes to Evander Kane. -1, 2 penalty minutes. Surprise, surprise. 19 minutes and 17 seconds, 24 shifts. He had 4 shots on goal, so at least he's putting the puck on the net. 3 hits, no giveaways. A little surprising there. Is there anything else here? Here, let's take a look at face-off percentage. PD was a 63.6%. So Drew O'Connor was 100. Who else do we have? Ratu was a 43.8%. So Pettersson was better in the face-off dot than Atu Ratu, which is a little surprising. Max Sasson was 45.5%. Reichel 42.9%. And that is all it is for the face-off percentage. Let's take a look at the shots on goal per period real quick since it's here. Carolina outshot the Canucks 8-4 in the first period, 18-8 in the second period, and then 8-4 in the third period. And then Carolina outshot the Canucks 4-1 in overtime, despite the Canucks having control of the puck for most of the overtime period. So that is absolutely insane and insanity. But I want to bring something else up here real quick. Well, Gerald will be joining us around 8:30-ish or 8:35. So I want to bring up this natural stat trick. Where is it? So many windows open. Here we go. Natural stat trick. Let's take a look at this. This is probably going to blow your guys' mind. So, natural stat trick, Corsi Canucks were at a 20.9% at 5-on-5. Hurricanes were at 79.1%, which is 87. Fenwick, 24.3% for the Canucks, 75.7% for the Hurricanes. Shots, 26.7% for the Canucks, 73.3% for the Hurricanes. Scoring chances, Canucks only had 9, 17%. Hurricanes had 44 at a 83%, and this is the kicker right here. High danger chances, 2 for the Vancouver Canucks. They had more goals than they had high danger chances. They only had 2, and the Hurricanes were at a 91.3% with 21. Absolutely unbelievable, and that's at 5-on-5. Let's look at all situations real quick. Canucks were at 30, Corsi. Hurricanes were at 94. Canucks were at 24, Fenwick, while the Hurricanes were at 61. Shots, 17-38. Scoring chances, 14 compared to Carolina's 48. Again, 2 high danger chances, 22 for the Hurricanes. Expected goals, 1.17 for the Canucks, and the Hurricanes were at 4.23. That is all situations. Let's look at 5-on-5 for the expected goals. 3.85 for the Hurricanes and 0.8 for the Vancouver Canucks. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous and insane. Let's take a look at this real quick. Share this. I'm going to show you guys the heat map for the Canucks. 5.08 plus attempts for this. As you can see, the green here, at least on 5v5, you can see the clear difference. On the Carolina end, with that, I've actually never looked at a heat map before, so this is new to me. So between block shots and unblocked shots, so that is insane, the amount here, but that is insane. And then the game flow, obviously well in the Hurricanes' favor, but that is just absolutely insane to see that. Moving on, I'm going to get into some of your comments while I wait for Gerald. All right, let's get back to here. There we go. So I'm going to get into some of your comments, and then we're going to talk about some stuff. Duolingo here in the chat. Good to see you. Thanks for showing up. I really appreciate your support. Duolingo again. Wish we won, but hope everyone has a good weekend. Sunday game to bounce back. Yes, definitely. Hopefully they can, have a better game on Sunday. It's definitely, this game probably took a lot out of Canucks fans. Swerve and Irvin in the house. What up, Irv? Vintage Canucks for sure, at least when it comes to not shooting and lack of shots. Duolingo, I usually have to listen to Spotify, but this is a great show live with the visuals. Yeah, I really appreciate your support, especially on Spotify. It's really helping me out on Spotify, so keep it going. Special guest Gerald making an appearance. Yes, he'll be on roughly 8:30, 8:35. I already sent him the link, so he'll jump on when he can. Duolingo, we got lucky to get a point there, so we will take it. Yeah, definitely. If it wasn't for Lankman, like I said, we would have lost probably 7-3. So it's sad that we aren't looking like a playoff team. Yeah, absolutely. Like this is not a playoff team that's in a game. It's kind of ridiculous. Irvin says he's got to go dinner time. Oh, good, buddy. Excuse me. There we go. Duolingo. That Miller jersey is awesome. Have always been a fan. He's a heart and soul guy. Yeah, and that is the newest addition to the studio. I know I had previously a Miller jersey there, but it was flipped. No, but that was a different jersey. This is a new jersey. And I don't know if you guys can really see it, but if you guys really look at the number, it's signed by JT Miller. I'll give you guys the backstory on this. Again, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's personally signed by JT Miller. So this is a keepsake for me. This is huge for me. But yeah, I'll probably talk more about it when Gerald gets on. But Duolingo has a really good question here. Do you think we need to trade assets and completely rebuild, or we have a chance to make playoffs for real? Why are we always like this? That's a very good question, Duolingo. And yeah, I'm definitely leaning more and more towards the rebuild, especially with a lot of people talking about it lately. And I also still feel if we had rebuilt in 2013, we'd be in a much better spot now. But obviously that did not happen. And a lot of people have been hearing more and more details about what could have happened back then. Patrick Johnson of the province has spoken about it. You've heard about it on Sekeres and Price recently. And yeah, but after what we heard from Jim Rutherford earlier today, it doesn't look like a rebuild is in the cards, even if we lose Quinn Hughes. So I will be talking more about the Jim Rutherford interview with IMAC in a video tomorrow. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. I'll also be putting out a video on David Camp tomorrow as well. I'll be recording both of those tonight. So as I said, be on the lookout for that tomorrow. do you think the Canucks will make a big trade before the end of the year? I mean, I think they have to at this point. I mean, Hedl is still out. We still haven't heard anything about Hedl. And it's been, almost a month now since he entered concussion protocol. And we haven't heard, how he's doing or, like, an update. Like, he's doing okay. He's getting there. We haven't even heard that from Adam Foote or the Canucks. So I'm a little puzzled by that. I get it's a concussion and, it takes time, but even just a small little update would be nice, just to get people, feeling good about Hedl and his health. But obviously with Hedl's history, a lot of fans like myself are like, I think he's done. Everyone said he's one bad concussion away from his career being over. But yeah, I do think they will make a big trade before the end of the year, maybe within the next few weeks. I could see them signing camp. I'll talk more about that in that camp video, but I do think I could see them signing camp and, bringing him in, having him down the middle. And then that way you can also move Reichel to the wing. And I think Reichel would benefit from playing on the wing as opposed to playing center, a position he normally doesn't play. So there's that. Duolingo, what are your thoughts on the skate logo being main soon? I mean, I would absolutely love that. I absolutely love the skate. That is actually my number one jersey, or I should say favorite jersey of all time, like Canucks wise. I love the skate, especially the modern one that we have. I would absolutely love that if they brought back the skate full time. I know fans have been clamoring for it, myself included. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love the Orca. It's great. It's been around for a really long time, but I think fans want the skate as the main logo, and it's just a really cool logo. So I'm not sure if Aquilini will go for it. I know people have been pushing for it, and he kind of shrugged it off. It's like, no, he likes the blue and green. But I've always said this. Imagine if they had a jersey like this, blue and green, but instead of the Orca on it, they had a blue and green skate. I thought they missed an opportunity with the retro, like, reverse. When they had that a few years ago, I thought they missed an opportunity there to have a blue and green skate jersey. They obviously went with the Johnny Canuck and then the gradient one. So I thought they really missed an opportunity there. So we shall see. Let me take a look back at my notes. Again, we'll keep waiting for Gerald, but I want to talk about Evander Kane. I mentioned that I wanted to talk about him and how much of a bonehead he was in this game. And, well, how much of a bonehead he's been since, like, all season, really. I really thought him trying to get, Keandre Miller to fight him was pretty bad. Like, dude, it was a clean hit when he went into the boards. It was a clean hit. And he seemed upset about it, so he went and challenged Keandre Miller, and Keandre Miller wasn't biting. And then it led to Carolina tying up the hockey game. It's like, what are you doing? Like, stop thinking about yourself and think about the team. Like, that is a perfect example of him only thinking about himself, and wanting to fight somebody and let out his frustrations. I get it. You took a puck in the face in warmups, but, like, dude, it cost the Canucks a goal and could have, hindsight is 2020, but very well could have been a different game if the Hurricanes don't tie up that game. I know that third period was a bit of a mess, but if Kane hadn't have done that and actually, played and not tried to fight somebody, we could have had a very different game. Duolingo, how many Canucks games do you go to a year? You seem like you're always there. This is actually the first time I've gone to this many. So far, I've gone to 3 games, which is more than I went to last year. Last year, I believe I only went to 2 games, and that was like January, like after January. Normally, I don't go to a lot of games, so I guess I've been very fortunate and very blessed to be able to go this as many times as I have this year. I do have one more game to go to, and that is on Thursday against the Stars. I'll be actually going with Canuck Clay. Those of you that may or may not know, that's Clay is a big super fan, and he has his own channel. He's actually my mentor. So him and I are going to the game on Thursday, and I'm really looking forward to that. Despite it being against the Stars and them being a bit of a powerhouse, but I'm still really looking forward to going to the game, at least with him, and being able to watch it with him. Very much looking forward to that. And who knows, maybe I'll go to another game after that. Maybe I'll get it up to like 6, maybe 7. My wife and I do want to go to the game at the end of the year against the Flyers because she is a Flyers fan. She's been nagging me about wanting to go. So we're going to try and go to that game as well. But we're going to see about getting tickets. So, yeah, we shall see after that. Who knows? I do get tickets through work sometimes, so we'll see. Let's see here. Kane was a bad signing. All he does is take bad penalties. That's what Oilers fans hated him for. Yeah. I mean, I was on Twitter, like live tweeting during the game, and that high stick that he did on, well, it was his lone penalty, was so stupid. And that's why I say bonehead. It's like they even said on the broadcast, he went to go, he missed the puck. Well, keep your effing stick down. Like, despite the puck being in the air, keep your stick down because there's a good chance you're going to clip somebody. So I thought that was the dumbest penalty to take, and it was in the offensive zone too. So bravo, Kane. Bravo. Swervin, how are you approaching this year in your heart? I don't know. I will admit, before the season started, I was very optimistic about the season, but that's kind of dwindled a little bit over the last few weeks for sure. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not as positive as I was at the start of the season. So it's definitely taken a hit. I mean, I'm used to heartbreak, having been a fan of this team for as long as I have and having gone through 2011. Urban, you would know. But no, if I can get through 2011, I can hopefully get through this. I mean, we possibly have some more of that coming down the line. Obviously, that all depends on if Quinn Hughes stays or not. But obviously, at the start, I thought, it was a lock. Oh, Quinn's not going anywhere. I'll admit, I have my doubts that he will resign. I'm not as optimistic as I once was. So there's that. Next fan, 21-18. It doesn't look right this year. And yeah, I have to agree. He does not look right. Something seems off. So I don't know if it's injury. Well, he's out with injury now, but I don't know if it's mental or what. He's kind of makes me feel like he's kind of like PD last year, minus not putting up points, because Hughes is still putting up points, just not at the rate that we're used to. I mean, this is also the first time he's really had a down year, so I haven't really thought too much about it, but I do agree he doesn't look right this year for sure. Really rough year ahead, yeah, most definitely, but hey, I think we're kind of used to that. Harry, good to see you, buddy. The Canucks need a rebuild, had the 3-2 lead, and then ended up tying it and losing in OT. That was brutal. Yeah, I do think they need a rebuild, but I just think Aquilini's not going to do it. And we heard what Rutherford said earlier. Doesn't look like he's interested in doing it either. So I think the chances of us doing a rebuild are pretty slim, but obviously fans want it. So not really much we can do when it comes to that. Has anyone here tried the Domino's stuffed crust? Yes, I'm actually a big Domino's guy. There's one actually just down the street from me. And whenever I need pizza, I usually always go to Domino's. And yeah, I usually get their stuffed crust. It's actually pretty darn good. A little expensive, but I do like me some Domino's. Whoa. I do like this. Urban, hey, positive is positive, but you got to keep it real. Absolutely. Got to keep it real. And yeah, I can't really, we're kind of used to this at this point, so it's not really surprising anymore. And yes, 2023, 24, looks like a bit of an outlier at this point. Yeah, keeping it real and honest, definitely. Bagel bites, yes, those are absolutely amazing too. I do like Papa John's too. There's a Papa John's down the street from me too. There's like so many pizza places around where I live. Like there's a Papa John's, there's a Pizza Hut, there's a Domino's, and there's a Fresh Slice. Like I have so many pizza options, and it's crazy. Are the Canucks close to losing Quinn Hughes during the trade deadline or free agency? I mean, if they keep going the way they're going, yeah, I would say they're pretty close to losing him. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's up to Quinn Hughes, but I'm sure, we'll find out. I don't want to think that far ahead because anything can happen, and the St. Louis Blues are proof of that. I mean, just remember, going into the new year, the Blues were last in the NHL, and they went all the way and won the Stanley Cup in 2019. So that's what I kind of base it off of. Anything can happen. That's me trying to stay a little optimistic on things. After the efforts that the Canucks are in right now this season, yeah, definitely. Boston Pizza is a favorite. Okay. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind Boston Pizza. There's no Boston Pizza near me, but I do know from having watched the boys on Canucks Uncensored, do not go to the Boston Pizza at Metrotown. It's terrible, and they don't let you film in there apparently. So yeah, but yeah, I don't mind Boston Pizza. I do like their pasta more so than the pizza. I usually would get Hungry Carnivore. I used to get that all the time, but then one time it actually made me sick, and I haven't gotten it since. So, hello, mate. What is the number one thing we need right now to be a playoff team? Oh, well, we obviously need a 2C. That is, I think, the main one, and it's something we've needed since we traded JT Miller away. We've needed that since January, and it's November, and we still don't have one. I know Jim Rutherford talked a lot about that in his interview. Again, we'll go more in depth and go more into it when I do that video tomorrow, or rather when that video comes out tomorrow. I'm going to record it tonight, but we'll talk more about that in that video. So be on the lookout for that for sure. I usually go for the wings. Yeah, the wings are pretty good. I don't really eat chicken wings as much as I used to. Unfortunately, I have really bad teeth, so I can't really chew, and it's just difficult for me. Unless they're boneless wings, then yeah, I'm all for those. Urban, I said it in Clay's. I said it in Russell's. Where is it? You can trade Quinn for Luke, and they would be powerless to stop it. I love it. I love it. Food is really expensive in general nowadays. Yeah, it is. Definitely is. That's the world that we live in now. I like this. Do you think trading Miller was a mistake? This is going to be very difficult for me not to be biased. I mean, well, there. Yeah. But yeah, I do think it was a mistake. I mean, we can look at either side of this. I just think the whole situation, PD Miller, it shouldn't have happened. It never should have happened. It never should have gotten to that point where they had to trade one of the two. I think Rutherford even talks about it in that article with IMAC. They were forced to trade Miller, and they had to pivot. Had to, change what they were planning on doing. They had that 2C in Miller, and this trade happened. They had to make this trade, so it kind of put a wrench in their plans. But trying to be as unbiased as I can, I do think it's looking like a mistake. I mean, I know Miller's not playing that well with the Rangers right now. Mind you, the Rangers as a whole absolutely suck and aren't playing well as a team. But my bias is kicking in a little bit. I would obviously love to if Miller was still here. those that don't know, I do have a bit of a personal connection with JT, hence the jersey. So that is kind of influencing my opinion on whether or not it was a mistake to trade him. I do like these questions. Let me know in the chat if you want me to do a Ask Me Anything. I've been contemplating doing a video like that for you guys, just so you guys can get to know me a little bit more. But what's your favorite thing to get at McDonald's? I usually go for a Big Mac. I don't know why. I can eat a Big Mac. Actually, I can actually eat 2 Big Macs if I'm really hungry. But yeah, I usually get a Big Mac meal, and a lot of the time I scoff all the fries first and then eat the Big Mac afterwards. But usually a Big Mac for me. What made you decide to start this show? Glad I found it. I'm really glad you asked that. I haven't really talked much about this. I've mentioned it to some people like Clay, Urban knows. Basically, and I'll try and keep it a little bit short because Gerald should be joining us soon, and this is a post-game show. But long story short, year and a half ago, I lost my mom. She passed away from a drug overdose. And I was really in a dark spot, a pretty dark place after that happened, because my mom meant everything to me. And then it, while dealing with that, I started thinking like wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I, for some reason, just thought, what would she want me to do? That question, went through my head, and I was like, what would she want me to do? And then I had the answer. I was like, well, she would want me to do something that I'm passionate about, something that I love. And it instantly made me think of the Canucks, because she was a big Canucks fan herself. So I thought, well, why don't I start a podcast about the Canucks, or a podcast / YouTube channel, and do it for her, because she would want me to do this. And, started doing it, got the idea. About this time last year, I got the idea for it, and, had to, get the equipment, had to, come up with the basis for the show and for the podcast. Once I got that done, I was able to launch it in, I believe it was early February. So I decided to officially launch it. I was trying to get a few friends to, be a part of it, to have it like a trio. That didn't work out, unfortunately, which is fine. So yeah, that's a bit of a long story short. That's the reason why I decided to start the show. I did it because of my mom. So, and she continues to be a driving force for it, because I absolutely love doing this, and I'm getting better and better at it. And yeah, sorry for that long-winded answer, even though I said long story short. Would you rather have Lankinen over Sealoves, or Sealoves over Lankinen? That is a tough one, because with Demko's injury, I've been thinking, like, did we trade the wrong guy? Like, should we have traded Sealoves, or not? Should we have traded Demko instead of Sealoves? But I do like Lankinen. He has had his struggles this season, but tonight he was absolutely phenomenal. That glove save made me think of like Luongo. That was like Luongo level glove save right there. But I think I would still take Lankinen, because he's proven himself a little bit more than Sealoves. As much as I love Artie and think they shouldn't have traded him at this point, I would have to say Lankinen. You have to understand that there was no word where the Canucks looked at trading Miller and told themselves, this makes us better. I completely agree on that. Think Miller wants to play hockey, and Petey too busy buying Rolex and dating random American influencers, now married to one. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Hopefully the PD police don't see that. But yeah, I agree. Miller, especially having conversations with my uncle, who's friends with him, he absolutely loves the game of hockey. He just loves to play hockey. Hang on a sec. Yo, what up?
Yo, I know you're doing the stream. I know you're stalling for me, but I'm still driving. You can start the whole like the goal visualizer stuff, the post game stuff first, and then I should be there within under 10 minutes. That'll be awesome.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'm already going. I'm already going. So.
Or I can just be there, like voice while driving if you don't mind.
Yeah, if you want to do that. So, guys, I got Gerald on the phone, just so you guys know. But yeah.
Okay, I'll jump on. Okay.
All right.
Give me a minute. Thanks.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, drive by there. Where was I? Here we go. So over number. Fairly certain Miller wanted out. It's not like he's the first star player to want to get the F out of the Canucks organization. Yeah, I think it got to the point where Miller just had enough and didn't want to deal with this anymore. But I don't think it was the entire time that he wanted out. I think it was after, things were just getting worse and worse and worse. He was like, this is toxic. And he wanted to solve the problem. They even said, he tried his best to fix the problem himself before they made the trade. So, but yeah. I'm going to bring Gerald on real quick, and then I'm just going to keep fielding these questions. Give me 1 sec here. All right, Gerald's on with audio as he's still driving right now. I'm just fielding a bunch of
I'm late.
Kind of doing a little Q&A.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Or asking
the whole McDonald's, how you started the podcast. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. I mean, I think we all have to thank Clay for all of this, because if it wasn't for Clay, I don't think you and I have met, or Irvin would have met Irvin, Alfred, the whole bunch. Like, I don't want to miss people, but like Fangirl, Justin, Incredible, Shannon, Carol, all those people. So it's great. Because of that, I get to do this with you here and there for post games, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Just fielding some more of the questions. Bure, Luongo, Kessler all wanted to leave and were worse for it. Yeah, you can add Miller to that list. That's quite the list of names who ended up leaving. AMA or a Q&A chicken McNuggets. Yeah, I don't mind me not 6 piece. That's not enough. Like 20. I don't mind me a 20-piece McNuggets. Just don't tell Sam that. She loves her McNuggets. Irvin, I order a Big Mac and fries with no salt, so they throw on new fries. Yeah. It's a good way to do it. Duolingo.
You know what the best way of doing? You know what the best way to have fries is?
What?
If they can actually do it, is instead of salting the fries, just pepper the fries. Because when I was in high school, I used to order fries with like 10 packs of pepper, and just sprinkle the fries and just toss them. Because I like it with pepper as opposed to salt. Just less sodium, right? So you get more taste.
Chicken nuggets with sweet and sour sauce and Coca-Cola. Yeah, I do like me some sweet and sour sauce. That's usually my go-to for sauce. Duolingo. Really sorry to hear I'm a mama's boy. So am I. I actually take great pride in being a mama's boy. I don't see it as an insult whatsoever. I even actually said that at her funeral, that I take great pride in it. So, Harry, so sorry for your loss. Just know that we are here for you, and your mom is proud of what you're doing. Yeah. I don't want to get too much into my mom, just because, it still hurts. But I do know she's proud of me and what I'm doing, and I think about her every single day. So, last Saturday's Chaos Unleashed episode was fun. Are you gonna make it a regular thing? I'm looking to, maybe do it like a once a week kind of thing or something like that. perhaps Gerald, you and I will talk more about it.
Yeah,
I think that would be a pretty cool once a week thing.
I was actually talking to Tyler a little bit about doing later shows. But it really depends on Tyler and his work schedule and all of that. It's kind of just to work with Clay's schedule because Clay does his usually at 11. We have guests that want to join. We could just, have them on, and it could be our sort of unleashed segment.
Duolingo in the chat. But much love, your bro. Much love, bro. Your mom is proud of you. It's a beast show, and you're a good dude, my guy. I really appreciate that, Duolingo.
Okay, I just need to set up my camera, and I will be on in about 3 minutes. But yeah, this has been interesting. A sort of different kind of stream.
Yeah, so I'll just keep with the comments. Guys, keep coming with the comments. We do have a lot to talk about hockey. Trust me, don't worry. We got lots of hockey to talk about. I got a lot of notes, so just gonna keep fielding these. Line change TMZ. Duolingo keeping it G real. Harry, do you think the Canucks would have had a better season if we didn't trade Horvat away? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think that ship's kind of sailed when it comes to Horvat. Especially, I mean, I can understand why people are thinking that. The way Horvat's been playing it in New York is absolutely incredible. And I was a big Horvat fan when he was here, but who knows? I mean, he's a center, so obviously it's somebody who the Canucks need. But it's kind of hard to judge that with how long it's been. But Duolingo, you are a certified beauty and a strong dude, bro. Losing your mom is the toughest thing as a son. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Just incredible in the house. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. How are you?
Oh, good thing I actually said. Good thing I actually called him out, or else he'd get mad. Just like PD and his shots. Hey, can you hear me? Are you good? Are we good? Tyler?
I can hear you, but you're frozen on my end.
I think it should be better now. How's it? I'll come back in.
You're still frozen? Yeah, but here, I'll close some of my tabs too because I have a lot open with everything. I'll get him to answer this question. Urban. Oh. Where is it? Where'd it go? All right, I'll bring Gerald back in. There now.
Hey.
Now there's that beautiful face. LMA had a really good question. How did me and you meet and become friends?
So we met on PlayStream, and I can't remember how it all started, but we were chatting. We were in the chat. Somehow we exchanged contacts, and I started a group on Instagram for the CCC, and then we started chatting more. And then Tyler thought it'd be a good idea if I jumped on and tried it out just to see if it works on the stream. Some people liked it. I think Tyler liked how the views kind of went up a little bit, so I was like, okay, so I'll continue to come on and do my takes. And I think we've been friends since then. It's been about half a year. But we've gone to games, we've hung out, and we both live on the North Shore, so that kind of, that was kind of the bond that started everything.
Mm-hmm. And
But
I guess we
wanted-
didn't mention you apparently know my aunt as well.
I
You
don't
apparently
know
work
your
with my
aunt, but
as well. We found that out.
yeah, we found that out, but let's not go there. I mean, until I actually meet her. But something I actually wanted to actually, did you want to add anything to that question or that answer?
Sorry, I'm just trying to close a bunch of tabs right now, hoping
Okay,
to try and
I'll
fix whatever's
I'll
going
I'll
on.
I'll wing it while you do that. Just something that I wanted to add while I was driving back and I was listening. The JT and Bo Horvat thing. I'll just throw that out there. I mean, what if we kept both? Chat, what do you think? What if we kept JT and Bo and traded away Petey? Or another scenario might be, what if we kept Bo, traded JT, because JT was already sort of that bona fide 90, 100-point player, and Bo wasn't there until his contract year. Traded away JT. We all know Bo and Petey had this chemistry, even though they kind of played on different lines, but they had this friendship. You could all see it after the trade, and they met at the All-Star game. So if we had traded JT away, kept Bo, would Petey be in the slump that he was and lost his confidence after all that, and now he's reclaiming everything? Or he wouldn't have found that defensive prowl that he has now if Bo stayed, because Bo would have been the go-to guy on faceoffs, for the PK and all of that. So it's kind of, everything happens for a reason. And as much as people have been busting on Petey, there is that defensive side that he has. Just look at the block shots, look at the hustle. He had the short-handed goal today. Would that repertoire be in PD's arsenal if we traded away JT earlier and kept Bo? Because he wouldn't have been given that responsibility of taking on the top lines of the other teams, taking those defensive faceoffs. I think tonight he took, what is it, like 13, 17 defensive faceoffs. I think he was somewhere around like 50s, or I think overall it was like 60s on his faceoffs tonight. So I mean, defensively he did well tonight. But if the whole scenario we were to change something in the past and we kept Bo, or um, because at the end of the day, the money that we're giving Bo and the money that we're giving JT had to make sense so we could re-sign Petey. So if we didn't have to worry about Petey, we technically could have one of the strongest, 1 and 2 C duos with Bo and JT without Petey. But at the same time, with the circumstances that Petey has been given, his defensive game has come up. And I think there was a post by Wit from Uncensored that he could potentially be like Patrice Bergeron, if his faceoff levels go up, right? So that's kind of the thing that I've been thinking about in my head. Like, we see Bo, he's leading his team, he's scoring goals, he was scoreless in his first two. Third game, he had a hat trick. I think it was a power play, shorthanded, and a regular 5-on-5. And then he's been on the tear since. Would you have rather kept Bo, but PD was less defensive? Or are you happy with what we have now? That's kind of the scenario that I've been thinking.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Sorry, it's still kind of freezing on my end. So I just have the stream on YouTube right here so I can actually see you talking.
Okay.
But yeah.
Do you want to restart? And I can
No.
just hold on to all this?
No, it's all good. I'd rather not restart my computer in the middle of the stream again. Like I said,
Okay.
I can see you moving perfectly on the actual YouTube stream. So
Okay.
although it's slightly behind, I will say.
I didn't know I could show this on. Does this work? Let me see this. Do.
While you check that, I'll put up a few comments that I starred. Justin, LL Gerald, you don't make 11.6 or play for a
Did
shitty
you
owner. I wouldn't be mad at you ever.
did you put that up or did I put that up? Because I put it on stage.
I started and I just pulled it up. So
Okay, great. Yeah, obviously I don't make 11.6, but I mean, yeah, it's always interesting chatting Canucks with Justin because of the insight that he has and the policing that he does for PD and just the amount of shots that he gets each game or when he actually gets his first shot. But tonight, at least he got that shorthanded goal. He looked it, rocked, and just rocked it in. So, I mean, come on. Like, he has what, like 7 points in the last, I don't know, handful of games, something like that. I mean, he has a few scoreless games, but still, like, he's like half a point a game right now, which we need to improve drastically if we want to make the playoffs.
yeah, I did make a funny little, cheeky, or I should say tongue in cheek. There was no one for him to pass to, so his only option was to shoot. So
Yeah.
another one from Justin, I guess to add on to that, but I appreciate the friendship and shout out anyways. That's good. Got a question from LO Mate. Where's the North Shore? I'm not from BC. I've never had to actually describe the North Shore before. But it's basically Vancouver is just across the harbor from the North Shore. So 2 bridges connect Vancouver and the North Shore. And it's what I would classify it as like what, a town kind of thing. Right?
A district.
Yeah.
I'd say a district. So I don't know, where are you from? And maybe we'll try to relate to it. But Vancouver, if you consider Vancouver, it'd be like downtown, Greater Vancouver. North Shore is part of Greater Vancouver, but we are across a bridge and more of a rural area, less less of the commercial stuff, just quieter and sometimes colder because we have all the mountains over here. We got Mount Seymour. We have Capilano, which is where Tyler lives nearby and works. We also have Cypress. So yeah, a lot of the ski mountains are over on the North Shore.
Mm-hmm. There's this one. Damn, both you guys got nice numbered jerseys like true fans. Yeah. I got I mean, can't really see it from this angle. I mean, you can see a little bit of the Miller one, but Duolingo, I feel we need more heart and soul guys like exactly like Miller. Yeah, that was one thing about Miller is he was a heart and soul guy. Yeah, he had his temper, but what person doesn't have a temper or can kind of lose it a little bit? But yeah, he was definitely a heart and soul guy for sure. I mean, I'm a little bit biased, so but just because it's Miller. Irvin, this is actually a really good one. I believe the true window of contention was 2020 to 2024, but Benning completely fumbled everything and left a mess for the next regime. Bo, JT, Prime Brock, Hughes, PD on ELCs. Yeah, don't even get me started on Benning. because I'll go like full rant on Benning.
And guess who we lost? We lost Toffoli, we lost Tanev, we lost Markstrom, Stetcher, who's on waivers today because of Hyman, and that 2020 bubble year could have turned into something really, really good. I mean, I'm not saying it would be 23, 24 good, but it definitely would be playoff level. I mean, they took Vegas to 7 games. I mean, Demko himself stood on his head for 7 games. So, that's when Markstrom kind of lost it the first couple of games. But after that, we knew what we had in Demko. Unfortunately, with the injury prone now that we know, it's a little hard to swallow. But yeah, like I said, everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the previous comment. One sec.
Yep.
Another question would be: everyone loves the whole heart and soul JT Miller. So imagine if PD didn't get injured, and PD was training the summer before, because winning solves everything, right? Then that rift wouldn't have happened. But before this sort of rift that they were saying happened even before the 23-24 season, there was a rift between Bo Horvat and JT Miller on how it was like a country club kind of, locker room and all of that. So even if we went back, we wouldn't be able to keep Bo and JT because I guess there is that sort of tension in between. And we also would have that tension in between PD and JT, which management knew, but still signed JT and then signed PD, thinking it'd solve on its own, thinking both of them would be professionals and just work it out. And it just blew up in their face. So from going to having 3 centers, we have 1 now. So it's honestly, I think it's a bit lacking on management. And this all happened after Benning, right? And I think Swervin would be saying it's just asset management and how you would sort of predict, do these players work well together? Should we be signing them to long-term deals? If we can't have a locker room that works out, why not trade it for some sort of assets that will work? And I think that's after hearing Irvin talk about it on this stream, on Clay's stream, on Russell's stream, I think I thought about it, and it really has to go down to PD and if he wants to be that leader, because if he is that leader, none of this would have happened. The rift with JT, and we would still have that 23-24 team in a way. And right now he's, I'll give it to him. He's taken the team on his back defensively, but offensively, the 11.6 that Justin's talking about, he's not scoring goals. He's trying, but defensively, he's actually kept the team afloat. If it wasn't for him, I think we wouldn't be that 500 team. Right now, we're at 19 games, so we're 8-10, 8-10-1. Oh wait, 8-9-2. Right. So yeah, with all those injuries, 8-9-2. That's still pretty impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, it is for sure. This is a good point by Urban. Plus, we had Luongo cap recapture, like referencing what he said before, like between 2020 and 2024. We had the Luongo cap recapture, no draft efficiency, no cap efficiency. And yeah, that's. I think some people forget that we had that Luongo cap penalty. But yeah, we had to deal with that between 2020 and 2024. And I'm not. Are we still? No, I think that's done.
No, it's
now.
done. It's done. It was done.
It's just OBO that I think we're still dealing with right now. I think.
Yeah, till 2030, I think.
Oh, geez, 5 more years of that shit. Man.
Yeah, 2030 or 2029. I can't remember. We'll have to look up the stats for that.
Hello, mate says, you both doing Movember? Yeah. I mean, I've had this since before November started. So, but I usually keep it for Movember. And I know, actually, Gerald, did you want to plug your Movember thing while we're on the subject?
I feel ashamed because even though I've been doing this for 8 years, I see people like Tyler, I see people like Russell, and they have these like thick mustaches, and I have this like I don't even know what you call this. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing it for 8 years, trying to raise funds for mental health. I am a huge mental health advocate, just trying to raise funds so more people are aware of what mental health is and the type of help that they can get. You can find out at Movember.com. There's a lot of events that help people that are struggling with depression, anxiety, any sort of mental health. If you want to help out, I will put my link down in the chat later. But appreciate any little donation because any little bit helps, and just want people to know more about men's health, mainly mental health. So it's not just the health down there, but it's also the health up here.
Mhm. And apparently, Hello, mate is from Sydney. So they're in
Oh,
Australia.
nice.
G'day, mate. Sorry, that was my terrible Australian accent. Got another one. Next fan. Is it Canucks GMs or is it the owner for the last 12 years of pain?
Oh no. Oh no.
I think a lot of people would say owner for sure. Because we've had like a carousel of GMs in the last 12 years, but we've had one owner. So definitely owner. Urban, to move back onto that Bo and Miller chat we were having, as I've heard through the grapevine, the room was split, Bo guys and Miller guys. Yeah, we heard that.
Yeah.
It was the same thing with PD as well. There was Miller guys and there was PD guys.
But if you were to choose, chat, if you were to choose, would you rather have a Miller guy or would you rather have a PD guy?
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna have to think about that one. That's actually a good one.
I have the jersey here, but in all honesty, for the betterment of the team, I'd much rather have a power forward that can face off, that can pass, that can, rough people up and stick up for teammates than someone that he's good defensively now. He's improving his face-offs, but still, this is a new term. I actually haven't told you about Tyler, but I have a friend from Hong Kong that came over. We went to the game, and there's actually a nickname for PD in Hong Kong, and you'd never guess it. I'll give you a hint. It comes from Disney.
Disney. I'm gonna have to think. Oh.
Well, I'll give you another hint. So PD gained some weight. He gained what, like, was it 5, 6 kilos, 13 pounds, something around there. But that's all upper body. You can see that he looks pretty buff. But his legs, it's not really there, and he's still kind of falling like an animal in the Disney universe. I heard it, and I was, oh my God. The first time I heard that, I was like, oh my God, that sounds so true. So my friends in Hong Kong call him Bambi because he keeps falling and he's just Bambiing it up. Like every time he's on the ice, it's back to that damn Nashville game. That Nashville game where he had a 2-on-1 and he fell on the ice and then just went back and sat down. Like I don't know. That's probably going to be the highlight for PD for the year, for the season for me.
Ooh, I like this. Duolingo. listened to a lot of Canucks shows the last month on YouTube, including Sportsnet, but the takes plus combo Tyler Gerald have are top tier out of them all. No cap.
Thank you.
Thank you, Duo. I really appreciate that. And as I said earlier, you're really helping me out on Spotify. I'm actually would not be surprised if I hit subscriptions on Spotify before YouTube, just because of how well it's going on Spotify. So thank you very much, Duolingo. I really appreciate that.
Hey Todd, should we just go to some of the post game stuff before we go
Yeah.
to more questions? Like let's dive into it because it's already an hour in, and I think people are looking for it. We'll do it quickly and then
Yeah,
do all the questions right after.
Yeah, we'll save the comments for after. But yeah, because I got lots of notes for the game. I did touch on it briefly earlier, before you came in, I believe. And that was discussing Kane and how much of a bonehead he was in this game.
Well,
I mean, first off, that penalty that he took, the high sticking, was, I don't know how you can do that. Just blindly swing up for the puck and then clip somebody in the face.
just being careless. I mean, that's kind of his repertoire. I mean, if you go back and look at some of the highlights for the game against the Habs this year, and how he didn't think it was a penalty, but he obviously he messed up Caulfield. Like it was he's just a man on a mission with a loose stick, and he just really doesn't care. So
Yeah, and and then obviously that hit he took from Miller, Keandre Miller, not JT Miller. Where he got like put into the boards. It was a clean hit, and then he kind of having a hissy fit about it afterwards, kind of like we said, thinking it was a penalty, and then trying to get him to fight. And it's like, dude, pay attention to the play. Don't try and start a fight with somebody who's clearly not. If like after Miller showed no signs of wanting to fight him, he should have just moved on. Like, stop egging him on. Pay attention to the play, because then it led to a Carolina goal. And I even said earlier, he was kind of being selfish in a way. He was thinking about himself, not the team. And if you're going to think that, there's the door. Bye.
of the 19 games that we've watched, we've noticed a lot of that. Though. There's only like a scarce amount of games, a couple games here and there that like, wow, okay, that's who we were excited for. Like those passes, those shots, those goals, games without penalties that we're looking for. But there definitely would have been a reason why Edmonton had to trade him away, aside from the cap issue, right? Like McDavid, he was on the line with Draisaitl, and I think that worked out. But he did well in Edmonton, to be honest. The only problem is why did they get rid of him? It's because probably McDavid didn't want him there. So yeah.
I could definitely see that for sure. I do want to bring this up. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I am going to reiterate my hot take. I still think he's traded by the deadline, especially if he keeps this up. Just so we can, move off his cap, even if it's like a cap dump. Not necessarily to re-sign Sherwood, but just to get that cap off. I do have a question, and let me know in the chat as well, because I've been thinking about this. If he keeps this up, do you think he might get benched at some point if he keeps this up? Once they're healthy. I know right now is probably not a good time to do it because we have so many people injured. But once we're healthy, do you think he could get benched if he keeps this up? Just to send a message, like, knock it off, like, start thinking with your head and not, your feelings.
I don't think Footy's one of those coaches. I mean, might seem like one, but everything that he's done so far, it doesn't seem like he would.
Okay.
Um,
But yeah, that was just one thought I had. If he keeps
but
playing
the
sloppy.
but the thing is, like, if you imagine, let's say Hogs comes back, Bluger comes back, um, we're gonna have a bit of a surplus on the left side because down the middle you got Petey, you got Bluger, you got Ratu, and I guess Sasson. And then what do you do with Reichel? Reichel's probably gonna, transition back to his left wing. Hogs is gonna be on the left wing. We also have Baines. We have DeBrusque. So yeah, I mean, what you said makes a little sense because we might not need someone like Kane. It's not like he's sticking up for the team anyways. He's just taking these careless penalties. And it's the question of, would you rather have a skilled forward that's smaller like Hogs? Hogs, to be honest, plays kind of like Garland. Like Hogs and Garland are, I would think one's on the left wing, one's on the right wing, but they play similar styles. They're like that dirty, gritty, they're gonna come hit you kind of forwards. So if we have that back, do we really need Kane? So if we don't need Kane, yeah, we need that money for Sherwood. Then Sherwood can stay. And since they're not going to be doing a rebuild, then you might as well use that cap space more. I mean, it makes, to be honest, it doesn't. Trading Kane right now has nothing to do with the cap space for next year because his contract ends at the end of this season. So either way, we technically have the cap space for Sherwood, but the problem is, do you have the money for I don't know who else needs to be re-signed, but we'll have to look that up. And technically I think Sherwood, if they were to offer him 5 million, I think he'd just be like, okay, cool, I'll do it. But the problem is the term. How many years? And are they willing to risk it on a 30-year-old that has this sort of breakout season that he's leading the team in goals? And, you know, uh, I can't remember who I was watching the game with, but someone was saying, hey, look, like he's scoring goals now, but he's not making those hits like he were in the last couple of years. Like he was leading the hits in the last, well, he was second the first year he signed, and then he led the league in hits last year. But this year, you look at it, he's not one of the leaders. So if it was just for the hits, I would give him the money. But if he's just focusing on scoring goals, I don't know. Like he has the hands for it, but you need him there for, or maybe he's playing like a JT Miller. Who knows? Like he's going to be more physical, goal scoring. He's working on his hands. He can skate. Then 5 million is more than enough. But if he doesn't keep up that 20 plus 30 shot percentage, it's not worth more than 5. I would say I'd give him like 4.5, or no, we'll do 4 by 4 at most, but ideally probably 4 by 3.
Yeah. Touching back on the Kane thing, forgot to mention this. Imagine if Tocchet was still coaching. Would you think he would get benched then if Tocchet was still the coach? Because Tocchet had
100%.
no problem with benching people.
100%. He'd be done. He wouldn't even last 19 games.
No.
He'd be there for like on audition for like 3-4 games, and he'd be like, talks like, I'm done. You're out of here, man.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Kuzi, man. That's what happened to Kuzi because Kuzi couldn't play defense.
Mm-hmm. And Tocchet was like, get rid of this guy. Speaking, we were talking about Kane, talking about his boneheaded penalties. Speaking of penalties, there were some missed calls in this game. I wasn't keeping too much track on it. I did see one in particular, but apparently there was a high stick on Myers that was missed, both by the same player that I'm going to bring up. And then there was that dirty elbow by Svechnikov on Hronek towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
Seeing that
That
replay,
was injury intent for sure. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
like intent to injury. Like that's terrible.
yeah, that was like, I'm trying to not be explicit about it because I want to, because that is how angry I was about it watching that. But
It was dirty.
that's got to be a suspension. Like, even
Yeah.
though it wasn't called, like, player safety needs to look at that and be like, that's a flippin' suspension right there. Because he leaned into it too. It wasn't just a graze. He leaned into like a freaking UFC fighter does. And it was, as you just said, intent to injure. And I believe Svechnikov actually has a bit of a history with player safety. So there's that.
It's happened before. He's been suspended before.
Yeah, so that should be an automatic, like, look into it and, make a decision. Like, I think I saw on X, I forget who it was, but someone said that should at least be, at least a few games for sure. So we'll see what player safety does and George Peros. But hopefully they look at it because that was so dirty. And the fact that Hronek left the game due to like concussion protocol, and Heedle's still not back yet. So that could be another person dealing with a concussion. Hopefully not.
Dude,
but
Heedle's done for the year, to be honest. Like I think they're just waiting. Yeah. They're just waiting to see. And if you're throwing a hot take, I'm gonna throw a hot take. I'm gonna say Heedle's gonna be season ending LTIR. They're gonna use that. I can't remember if it's 4.2, 4 point whatever. They're gonna use that to find someone. Possibly even before the trade deadline. Yeah. But before that, since you mentioned penalties, like the first period when Seth Jarvis was, taken out of the game, there was actually a penalty on Petey before that. So there's a lot of inconsistency because if you didn't call the Petey penalty, the penalty that like Petey got, hit with, why would you call the other one just because Seth Jarvis is injured technically or just, bumped up? Like you would have to call both of them. You can't just call one because one seems like that player took it harder than the other. Like it makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. And Jarvis got high stick by his own freaking player. Speaking of Svechnikov, he was being dirty even to his own teammates. High stick Jarvis. There was that missed call on PD, and then I know it was called cross check, and yeah, Marcus Pettersson does kind of cross check Jarvis as he's getting high stick, but that was soft. Like that was so soft. It's not like he was like reared back and cross checked him. It was a soft cross check call, and the fact that that's the only call they made was pathetic, like unreal.
It kind of reminds me of last game when Huggy injured his shoulder on the high stick.
Mm-hmm.
He got injured, but the penalty was on him. Like obviously, like I was watching at the game, and I was like, yeah, that's definitely a penalty on Huggy. But because his arm was, I think it was with Stamkos or O'Reilly, I can't remember. It got stuck, and his shoulder kind of got pulled. They still called the penalty on him. So why didn't they call the penalty that PD got, I don't know, cross-checked, interfered with, whatever it was, and only the one on Marcus Pettersson when MPD is not really a dirty guy. Like he doesn't really do hits like that, right? So it kind of baffles me on the consistency of refereeing this year in a lot of the games.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've definitely noticed it a lot, especially this season. It's been really like I've noticed it in years past. Excuse me, but I've noticed it more this season. It's been not consistent at all. Like they're not even trying to hide it. They're not even trying to hide it at this point, I think. I did want to take a quick look at the upcoming schedule for the Canucks real quick, but I of course closed all my tabs. So I'll just quickly Google it just because I want to just take a quick peek at the upcoming schedule. So I won't bring it on the screen.
So we got Tampa. We got Tampa coming up on Sunday, and that is a 2 o'clock start. And then we have Florida
Mhm.
in Miami on Monday at 4 p.m. So it is a back-to-back. Lankinen started today or tonight, and they have a day in between before Sunday. So who would you start? Would you start Lankinen and then have Patera play on in Florida, or would you start Patera and then have Lanky play in Miami? Because the thing is, Lanky played technically 3 games in 4 days already. Like he had played that first game, then he played the back to back. When Denver, stepped out after the first. Like I think the guy needs a bit of a rest. So, and as much as I think Tampa is maybe the better team than Florida right now because there's so many injuries with Florida. Um, I would probably put Patera in there just to like test the waters, just to see. And like the thing is, Canucks play pretty well for some odd reason for early games. Like they just come out the gates. I mean, look at that Washington game that they played. They were up. What was it, like 3-0? Almost 4-0 at that 10 o'clock game or 9:30. I can't remember what it was. So if the boys have that jump for that game, why not put Patera in there, rest Lanky, and if anything, Lanky can come in to back up, and you'd still have him for the following game. But it's going to be tough. It's 3 games in 4 days again, and Lanky has it in for him, man.
Yeah, definitely. Crap, where was I? But yeah, I mean, definitely, I definitely think Patera gets at least one of the games for sure. Like I think that's a lot. Which one? I mean, some people have said, the Panthers have been kind of dealing with injuries. But I'm kind of leaning towards what you were saying. Like, have him start against Tampa, save Lankinen for the Panthers, and then go from there. I actually do have a video coming out tomorrow that discusses goaltending options for the Canucks. I haven't recorded that one yet, but I'm gonna record that tonight, and I think it's actually going to be a really good video, just talking about like what their goaltending options are with Demko out. So be on the lookout for that. Let's take a look at the out of town scoreboard real quick, and then we'll get into a bunch of comments.
Because to be honest, they signed Patera for this reason, just in case, Denver does go. Like this was that plan B, that contingency, right? Because he has a fair share of NHL games.
Mhm.
It's just he's been an AHLer, right? So at this point right now, why not believe in the person that you signed just for one of the back to backs? Worst comes to worst, like I mean, I said on Clay's stream, the Canucks would be lucky if they got home with an 0-3. And today they got that tie, right? They were close. They were close.
Yeah.
I could see the Canucks winning today if it went to a shootout because Lanky plays well in shootouts. It's honestly his rebound control that really screws up everything. And this is the second game in overtime anyways, that he's lost. So, but yeah, out of town score awards, my friend.
Yeah, I just my desktop is acting up, so I'm just pulling it up on my laptop so it's easier. So starting off, we have Islanders Mammoth. Islanders beat the Mammoth 3-2 in overtime. Flyers win 6-5 in a shootout against the Blues. I actually caught some highlights from that game in between periods. There was a really, really nice goal by Snuggerud in that game. I know Canuck fans are tired of hearing that name because he's scoring a lot against us. But he's having a great season, and there's even talk about Calder potential for him.
I would say so.
I mean, he's got quite the competition in Celebrini. Or no, I guess Celebrini and Bedard don't.
No, no.
They're already
Sophomore
done.
year. Sophomore
Okay,
year.
so
It'd be Demidov, or Demigod from Habs, or can't really remember who else, but Demidov is probably the front runner right now.
oh yeah,
But I think he's kind of cooled off a little bit. But
yeah.
Sniperoo definitely, man. If you watch him play against the Canucks, I think he had, was it two goal games, or at least he scored in both of the games against the Canucks.
Mm-hmm. 2-1 Predators over the Penguins. That was in Sweden. So that was way early in the afternoon. And Steven Stamkos scored the overtime winner in that one. So,
Represent.
yeah. Kraken beat the Jets 5-3. Or no, that was yesterday. Never mind. So that was all the games. There was only 4 games on tonight. So there was Islanders, Mammoth, Flyers, Blues, Predators, Penguins, and then Canucks and the Hurricanes. But I'm not going to read that score for obvious reasons. But yeah, that was the out of town scoreboard. So only 4 games today.
On Friday night.
Yeah, on a Friday night. That's. I mean, I guess because that Penguins Predators game was so early, at least for us, on this side of the world. Because, like I said, that was in Sweden. Also in that game, Philip Forsberg scored for the first time in his native country. So that was pretty cool. And then I believe it was him and Eric Carlson did the opening face-off, like the ceremonial face-off. So I thought that was pretty cool as well. Being able to be in Sweden for those two. So that's the out of town scoreboard. Let's see what else we have. Yes, that's right. That video that I'm gonna do tomorrow, on the interview that Jim Rutherford did, I'll be doing a video on that tonight. I'll be recording it tonight, and then it'll come out tomorrow. And just talking about basically what he said about the rebuild and whatnot. So that's going to be interesting. Obviously, hearing some of his comments, we'll touch on it briefly. I don't want to touch on it too much because of the video, but one thing stood out for me. I don't know if you saw it, Gerald. But he talked about Pius Suter, and
Yeah, I saw it.
We lost him, and it was a case of miscommunication, which completely baffles me. It's
Sounds like a Benning. Oh, we didn't have enough time. We didn't have enough time.
I mentioned that in Russell's stream. It was basically a ran out of time 2.0. It's like Toffoli all over again. And you know how I feel about how they lost Toffoli. I even did a video on that saying, no, he's the one that got away. But yeah, that's I'll be putting out that video. I mentioned the goaltending options. That video is coming out tomorrow. And then I'm also going to do one on David Kampf as well. I know some Canuck fans are 50-50 on whether or not the Canucks should sign him. But he does add some center depth, at least for now.
It's a low risk. It's such a low risk move.
Yeah, it's very low risk. You can literally sign him to a team-friendly deal. You can move Reichel to the wing so he can be where he's meant to be on the wing. He's basically another Teddy Bluger for the penalty kill, and we saw how shit the penalty kill has been and how bad it was tonight. Camp will help that, and he'll also make it so PD doesn't have to take defensive zone draws.
That's the main reason.
Yeah, and I think that is a good enough reason alone just to sign him. I don't know what they're gonna do term wise. Probably like a 1-year deal or something like that for at least the rest of the season or something.
It's gonna be a 1-year deal. Show it. It's to be honest, for Camp himself, Vancouver would be an ideal situation because of people like Pius Suter, people like Kiefer Sherwood. that have been given that opportunity to shine and show what they can do. And look, Pia Suter is in St. Louis. Even though it's it's 4.125 2-year deal, but when he signed with the Canucks is 1.6 for a 2-year deal. So he pretty much doubled it and a bit. Sherwood 1.5, and he's up to like 4.5, 5 million maybe. So I think Camp at most 2 years, but I think it's probably like a 1-year deal for the rest of the year. A show me deal at like a maybe league minimum, like the 775, maybe like $1 million at most. The Canucks have about $1.5 million left, I think, in cap space. But yeah, I think they should minimize and save as much as they can, especially if Hedel is going to go season ending LTIR, then they can go after, since they're not really rebuilding, they're just retooling or whatever the hell they want to call it. They can go just before trade deadline. Yeah, transition. Okay. Just before the trade deadline, like they usually do, they like to do it in January. They can go after someone interesting that can solidify the team and go for a run, right? So yeah, Camp could do that. And I think the most memorable moment that I remember watching Camp was 2022, where he was killing a penalty, and he actually, I think it might have been the playoffs, and he scored a shorthanded goal. So this guy has that defensive side, which we definitely need and can improve the PK on. Depends on the dollars, and he gets to choose because his contract's already terminated today at 2 p.m. Eastern. I actually thought the Canucks would have jumped in and signed him today already, since they like making these deals on Fridays, but they didn't. So hopefully within the next couple of days, we'll find out if he signs with Vancouver or somewhere else, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, Vancouver is definitely going to be in the mix, at least according to Rick Dollywall. He said the Canucks will for sure be in the mix. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about any other teams who might be interested. So yeah, again, what we'll see, probably maybe within the next few days, maybe even the next 24 hours, we might hear something about Camp. But I'm looking forward to recording that video and putting that video out tomorrow on Camp. I meant to do it yesterday, but I didn't get around to it. I was a little busy with work and then whatnot. But that's what's on tap for tomorrow. I don't want to dive too much into this, but there should be some exciting things coming for the channel, hopefully soon. Gerald already mentioned it to you.
Yeah.
I have a video conference on Monday with a podcast network. So fingers crossed that goes really well. It was originally Thursday, but I moved it to Monday because I actually have the day off work. So I switched it to earlier. So I'm looking forward to that. If you guys want to find them on socials, it's the Hockey Podcast Network. You can find them on Instagram. They actually got some pretty good stuff and some other pretty good podcasts on there. So I'm interested. I'm looking forward to that video conference, and I don't want to, jinx it or anything, but hopefully good things come of it. But let's dive into some comments. We got quite a bit. I think it's 47 that we've missed. And then we'll end things off with the questions. Let's see where we left off.
Hey, when you started the show, did you run through the goal visualizer stuff already?
Yeah, I did that
way
earlier.
Okay, cool.
All right, I think I know where we left off. Oh wait, I just missed.
And Swerven left already, so
yeah. Connor, good to see you, buddy. Just scratch him. I think he's talking about Kane. This is when we were talking about Kane. Just scratch him. Yeah, I mean, right now we can't really afford to scratch anyone, but if we were healthy, then yeah, at least scratch him. Let's see. Justin, Demko, and Kane retain for Pickard and Savoie. Is that like a trade idea? Like, I know who Savoie and Pickard are, but
Savoie is actually rookie for this year.
mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if the Oilers would go for the retain part. So, Connor, no more dealings with Edmonton. Thank you. Yeah.
Hey, unless they give us Jack Roslovic,
Well, yeah.
they can take
yeah.
they can take Kane back. We'll take Jack Roslovic.
Well, yeah, exactly. Do that. Trade like 1-for-1, Kane for Roslovic. You know.
I'd even go as far as like Kane for Podkolzin back.
Or that, yeah, they could go that route too. But I don't know if the Oilers would be willing to take Kane back since they got rid of him for, you know.
Did you see that Edmonton game the other night? Dude, McDavid was just like thrown around, man. He needs someone like Kane back.
Yeah. I did. I don't know. I didn't see the game, but a friend of mine the other day showed me a clip of a goal that McDavid scored where he absolutely like pulled a Quinn Hughes and danced the defender's, legs out, like broke his ankles with a like spinorama and then scored. I saw that and I was like, holy shit, that was, that's Connor McDavid, being McDavid. So, excuse me, boys, maybe Bedard will pull it to Tavares and sign in Vancouver. Yeah, I think that's what all us Canuck fans are hoping and praying for. Yeah, I've actually been thinking because for those of you that don't know, I'll touch on this real quick. I'm planning on applying for the Botchford project, so I've been trying to think of a story to write. Like I'm just gonna type it out and use it as my for my application. So I've been trying to think of like a story to write. One idea was talking about Bedard and bringing him back. But I thought that was a little too like on the nose. I'm also trying to think outside the box, something that someone else won't write. But so I'm actually going to do it and I'm going to use it as my example and as the paid article if I end up getting chosen. Talking about the goaltending future for the Canucks and how bright it is with guys like Medvedev, Ty Young, Tolopilo, Koskinvu. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick. Let's see, where else are we? I like this. We need guys like Yannick Hansen. Yeah. I miss Hansen, man. I don't watch him on what is it? He's on like Halford and Bruff a lot. I don't watch Halford and Bruff a whole lot, like hardly ever, but I have liked some of his takes that I've seen like scrolling through like X and whatnot. I do like some of his takes and some of his answers for sure.
No, he's dude, the guy's unfiltered, man. Like he roasted Petey. He just gave it to Petey on one of the shows at the beginning of the season. It was crazy.
Yeah, I've seen stuff like he has no filter. Like he doesn't care. He'll tell you like how it is, which I love that. I mean, he also has the experience. He's played with the team before, so he kind of has a inside track on like what he's talking about too. Irvin, where does the Heedle doesn't believe his career is over? Well, listen to the doctors, Heedle. It's probably why you got
actually don't listen to the Canucks doctors. They don't know what they're talking about.
Well, yeah, those doctors in particular, listen to real doctors, please. Duolingo, we're the most loyal fan base that suffer every year. I mean, we could be Buffalo. So I think Buffalo's got it pretty tough.
No, man, but look at Buffalo's team. They have some good players.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, like look at Tage Thompson. If we were to land a Tage Thompson, We're good. We are good, man. That guy's a beast. If they were ever to like actually trade someone like a Tage Thompson, the Canucks should just jump on that. If they want Petey, take him. If they want whatever, just give it to them.
Oh yeah.
He is one of those players that like that the legit power forwards that you need in the game. And then they have Norris that went to Buffalo, which is like Huggy's best friend. If they were to claim, well, actually, you know what? Looking back at it, given the Canucks luck, he would have been also injured if he played for the Canucks, if we traded for him. So yeah, another injury prone player.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought about him like when those talks were like, kind of fresh. And they're like, oh, bringing in Josh Norris. And I was like, do you really want a injury prone guy? Like, so that obviously quickly fizzled out, at least for me. Urban's heading out. Good. This is from 924. Sorry. I guess that's how behind I am on the comments. They just keep coming. It was Shifley on.
Yeah, I was wrong on that.
Yeah,
I was wrong on that.
Yeah,
it was the Jets game.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. Where do you blokes go watch the game if not at the arena? Any sports or any spots that local fans can go to eat and watch? Well, I usually go to Greta. At least that's my spot. Usually, I don't go to it often, but usually if there's a watch party, I'll obviously go. I'm probably gonna check out that Goodco watch party that they announced. I think what was it today for the game against the Kings, at the end of this month. So yeah, I'll probably go to Goodco for that. But usually I just watch it from home. If I'm not at the game.
Goodco, the atmosphere is not as great. Like fans are really spread out because of the seating.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually go to, especially if I'm off work and I can't rush home to watch the game, I'll probably be at the Canadian Brew House, and that's in Richmond. Staff are great. Atmosphere is amazing. They have like 20 screens, and every time they score a goal, the whole like place lights up. They have the bell, the sirens. And the Canadian Brew House is actually, they have one in Abbotsford. They have one at the Ice District. It's called the Ice House in Edmonton, which I went to during the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is just epic. Like you look out onto the area where all the fans are watching the games, like the watch party. It's pretty crazy. And I think they have one at the airport in Edmonton, so it's pretty crazy. But that's probably one of the better sports atmospheres. I watched the Jays game at the Canadian Brew House, and there are tons of Jays fans. So for sports, yeah, that'd probably be one of the better places to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't really go to any local places. Like I could go to somewhere like Browns, which is just down the street. But again, if I'm not out and about, I'm usually just watching it at home. But if I actually do go out, it's probably going to be Greta, if anything.
Bro, Browns by your place is really fogey. Like I was there for happy hour. I think one of the games were there, and it was just like these. Yeah, there's not much atmosphere.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I actually used to work at that location for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
worst experience ever. I was probably there. So I think this was 2 years ago. Around this time is when I started. I lasted until January. So literally, as soon as the holiday season was over, they kicked me to the curb.
They're
just before
slow, man.
Yeah.
No, but if you work there in the summer, it's different because they have that patio outside, that little enclosure outside, which is really nice. Yeah. But it's because it's such a community area, like a rural, like it's by the library. It's like kind of close to the mall, and you just have people walking around. So it is what it is. But for sports, I mean, it survives. At least there's a place for you to watch the game.
Yeah. Let's see. What else we got? Gerald, your name is the same as the main character from The Witcher. That is badass. Yeah.
I chuckled at that when I saw that.
Yeah. Something about Schaefer. Matthew Schaefer, yeah. Imagine if the Canucks had him.
Then we wouldn't need Hughes.
Yeah, we wouldn't need Hughes if we had Schaefer. I was actually going through my fantasy the other day. I think I was setting my lineups or like pre-setting my lineups, and I looked at Schaefer's stats, and I was like, "Holy crap, he's lighting it up!"
Right. He started the season on a 6-game scoring streak or point streak. 6 or 7, I can't remember. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think he was at like, when I quickly glanced at it, I think he was at like 6 goals, 9 assists or something like that.
Yo, the kid's a rookie and he's playing first power play. He's playing PP1, man.
Yeah. I love this from Bing Tang where the Witcher is Gerald. That's good. That's a good one. Duolingo. I like Connect Clay Show, but half the time spent talking about membership donation. This says in-depth deep coverage. Next coverage. Well, that's the difference between Clay's and mine. I'm not monetized, so I don't really have to talk much donation.
We can say whatever the hell we want.
Yeah, but hopefully I will eventually get to that point, and I'll probably start talking more about memberships and donations when that comes, but that is one of the main reasons for that. I know I have my little dono thing at the start. That's why I do it at the start, so I can get it out of the way. As much as I love Jack. But Bing Tang Warrior, Kane needs to go sooner the better. Yeah, I've already given my opinion and thoughts on that. But I just don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, especially with our injuries. And it would be pretty reckless if the Canucks did just, do it now. Any chance you can look at the current roster to see who the best value contracts we have besides Hughes right now? That's
Sherwood.
Sherwood? Yeah, I would. Yeah,
100% Sherwood.
Say Sherwood for sure. I'm actually gonna look that up just because that was really good. Yeah, definitely Sherwood.
Sherwood. Garley's contract right now, I think, is still the old one. I think it's at 4.95.
Yeah.
And then it goes up to 6 next year.
One kicks in next year, yeah.
Besser's at 7.25, which I think is okay. Demmer, even though he's injury prone, his contract right now is still at 5.5. Lankeys is at 4.5. So yeah, I mean it's probably Garland, to be honest. Garland and Sherwood at the moment right now, before Sherwood, gets his extension.
Yeah, definitely Garland for sure. Just looking at it here. Wait, where's Garland? Yeah, Garland's at 4.95. Where's Sherwood? Yeah, Sherwood's at 4.5. Oh no,
1.5. 1.5.
Sorry, there was a little smidge on my screen, so it looked like a 4. Yeah, 1.5 definitely. Reichels is not bad. Reichels is a 1.2, but I wouldn't say that's best value.
He's lost. Yeah, to be very honest with Reichel, if we're able to get Camp, either throw him on the wing, test him out, audition him for a few games, and if not, throw him down to the AHL, because for sure I know Abby needs it. He needs a bit more seasoning. He's still only 23. He has that potential. He has that foot speed. He just needs to sort of work on finishing because he's missing a lot of chances. I mean, even today.
Yeah.
And so I mean, having a thin Abby could possibly help him with some confidence, and hopefully some scoring in Abby since what their streak since they won in OT, was it last night? They lost 11 straight with their own injured players and also with the call ups up to the big club. Definitely need some better players down in Abbey right now. So yeah, Reichel. Yeah, he's not a needle mover right now.
No, definitely not.
But
I also think he's got a little too much speed. Like he kind of overthinks things when he's trying to dish the puck off. He just comes in with a little too much speed, and he loses the puck. Where was it?
it's kind of like Heedle. It's kind of like Heedle without the hands.
Yeah, and
That's what it reminds me of.
he's kind of just missing like he's not able to finish, and he just needs
Yeah.
to learn how to do that. So I'm not sure if he's waiver exempt. So I do agree. I think he could do well in Abbey, and Abbey could use a guy like that for sure.
Yeah.
Considering how they're playing. I do like this one. Can anyone explain to me why we signed Kane? It's because we thought we were losing Brock Besser.
We
That's
didn't
probably-
sign him. We didn't sign him. We traded a 4th-round pick that we got for Vasily Podkolzin before the draft, and then or in the like end of the season. I can't remember. Like around that time, and then we took that same 4th-round pick and gave it back to Edmonton for Kane without them retaining any salary, the 5.1 cap. So we technically traded Podkolzin for Kane, which is like the worst trade ever. Like what? Like, yeah, don't get me going on that.
Yeah, but yeah, I at least that's what I think was the reason. They were sure that Besser was gone, so they looked at Kane as like a replacement.
No. Here's the thing, because they thought that Besser was leaving, so they went after Dvorak, but Dvorak ended up in Philly because of Talkit. So if we had Talkit, we would have gotten Dvorak, and Besser wouldn't have been back. And then we lost out on Dvorak, so we got Kane, and then Besser resigned on July 1st. So that's how it ended up happening. Because I think it was right after the draft that we got Kane, right? Or just before the draft. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm. Good one from
just
Connor.
before, because they used the 4th. They used the 4th in the draft. So yeah.
Yeah. This is talking about Tampa. Our record against them is awful. 1 win in 10 previous games. Yeah, that's not looking good when it comes to the Bolts. And I always dread when they face the Bolts, just because Kucherov and I can't even pronounce Vasilevsky. There we go.
Braden Point.
Braden Point.
Yeah, but Vasilevsky is more down to earth now. Like he was like God mode before, but now he's kind of coming back down. So, I mean, the Bulls don't have an amazing record this year. So I mean, there is a chance if the Canucks open the game like today, and play consistent and then just don't mess up, then there's a chance. I would say, because my prediction was they'd be lucky if they go 0-3. I'd say they go into overtime again, and if Patera is in net, they'll lose in the shootout. Actually, no, they'll lose in overtime.
Yeah. Duolingo, do you think the old school style mentality is missing from the current Canucks club? I'm not sure actually. Gerald, you have an opinion on this? Do you think it's old school style or mentality is missing?
I'm not really sure, like in what sense, like for the old school style mentality, like Like in terms of the physicality of things, or in terms of the team culture, or yeah, expand on that. Let us know what you're trying to refer to.
Mm-hmm. Good point made by Connor. Those doctors and the team's medical staff can't be trusted. I mean, anyone remember Tanner Pearson's hand injury? I know. I remember that. I thought that was debauchery there.
He should have sued their asses, man.
Yeah, honestly, I would have been fine if he had sued the team for it. Like, I would not have blamed him whatsoever. And I actually really liked Pearson as well. I thought he was a pretty. I mean, he obviously wasn't the best, but for what he was worth, I thought he was good.
He played with Bo, right? At one point.
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah. See, at least Tanner Pearson can finish. Reichel can't. Doc is started to finish after I gave him all that whipping. So
Yeah.
maybe I guess we should talk more about Reichel and how he sucks at not finishing and all that. And then he picks it up and gets like proves me wrong, gets all these points.
Yeah, I mean, we've been shitting on PD quite a bit the last week or so, and then he goes and scores that beautiful shorthanded goal. I mean, just a sample size. Don't worry, Justin, just a sample size. But he does that. You know, Doc's kind of picked it up after you've been, you know. Now, yeah, we should do that with Reichel for sure. I mean, I still like his potential, but just need to be able to finish here.
No, he's still young, man. Like just needs time.
Yeah. Would you rather have Demko Lankinen, an injury-prone starter, high-cost tandem, or Skinner Pickard, healthier and much cheaper, but is their performance a byproduct of poor Oilers defense? Oof. That's a toughie, at least for me.
Oh,
Just because I am not the biggest Skinner fan. I can't stand Skinner. But it's kind of hard to think about without obviously including the whole injury aspect with Demko. Obviously, if Demko's like 100% healthy, has no injury history, it's a given, you know, Demko and Lankinen. But
bro, if Demko was not injury prone and we have Demko, we wouldn't need Lankinen. We could have kept Seelovs. We could have kept Seelovs and just traded Lankinen. Because Lankinen's his contract didn't kick in until the beginning of this season. So they could have technically traded him in the offseason and kept Seelovs, but they didn't. Because it's a bad move in terms for management if they re-sign someone, traded him right away, and then people are just gonna be like, oh shit, like why would I want to go to Vancouver if they sign me and they just trade me right away? So that's why they kept Lankinen. And in terms of like, you know, I think they honestly jumped the gun. Like they initially thought they were gonna keep Lankinen, but Demko was more of a last minute like. I have a feeling. I have a feeling that Aquilini wanted Demko to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they had to offer him something. And Demko also said that he wanted to stay. So that's why they had that friendly 8.5/3 contract, even though he was technically injured at the time. But, you know, if we look back, I probably would have traded Demko, even though I love Demko. I have his jersey, even signed. But I think, yeah, Seelovs would have been a good like rebuild or just for the future kind of thing, right? But we also, like you said, you're doing the thing about goalies. We have Medvedev, Ty, and Ty Young, and yeah, so it made sense for Seelovs, but Seelovs is playing pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only problem I really have, even today watching this game, Lankinen's rebound control is absolutely abysmal. It's so terrible. The first shot of the game, if it wasn't for Sherwood, that would have been a goal.
Mhm.
See, that's what Besser had to do to prevent the Canucks to lose in overtime the other game and to lose last game against the Jets because he was like a statue watching. Sherwood went went for it, right? So and also I don't know if you went through this at the beginning of the stream. Lankinen, I think, had the sorry so there were 90, I think it was 94 attempted shots on the Canucks this game. Attempted.
Mhm.
I mean, not all of them went to the net, but I mean, I think by OT they were doubling the Canucks. I think it was 34-17. It looked like another like Tocchet game. 17 shots. It was just terrible. So if I had a choice, I probably wouldn't take Lankinen. But the thing is, if it the only reason why Lankinen is so good in shootouts is because players can't go for the rebound. So if his rebound control was better, then yeah. But at that point, also he wouldn't have cost 4.5 instead of yeah. It would have been way more.
Mhm. Doodle in the house. What's up, Doodle? Good to see you, buddy. Duo. We'll do maybe 5 minutes or so of comments, and then we'll call it. When did you guys start this show, and when did Gerald jump on? I am new to Canucks YouTube this season. Well, I mentioned how I started the channel earlier. But when it comes to Gerald, you just started hopping on. It just kind of spontaneously happened. Yeah, that's pretty much how it started. It was spontaneous. Obviously we've had good discussions, when we were at like Goodco and at Greta, and yeah, it was one of those spontaneous things that just happened and we just clicked pretty much.
I think it's just this season. I can't remember how many games we've done, but it's at least a handful that we've done. And then we did the whole like Canucks Unleashed After Dark thing, which was a lot of fun. And so we've been sort of continuing to do this. Like when I have the time, I just reach out to Tyler and be like, "Hey, post game, let's do it." And then he just sends me a link, and then I just come on. So
Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it.
Holy crap, we have how many messages? The last time I checked, there's already another 56 messages. Who is here?
Connor's here, Doodle's here, Duo is here. Here, I'll highlight this one from
We're Boys Club.
But Doodle says PD has been solid so far this year defensively. Yep, definitely. Especially he's completely showed up. Maybe he needs to shoot a bit more, but overall been happy with this place. Yeah. I won't argue at all about how he's been defensively. Like, I think I saw a post by Sat Shaw talking about him blocking shots. I did see a little bit during this game. He I think I glanced away for a quick second and looked back and saw someone like land on the ice, kind of like going like this, trying to block a shot. I think that was Petey. So perhaps he might be just sacrificing his body a little too much, and it might, especially with all these injuries going on, it's hard to watch. But at least the effort he's showing the effort to block these shots, which is great. But as what we've said before, you're not paid the amount of money that you're paid to play defensively or block shots. I mean, it adds to your game for sure. You're paid to put the puck in the net. But I will say he's definitely looking better than he was in the second half of last season. He's certainly looking better than he was there, for sure.
You have to admit he's basically been thrown into the wolves. Like I've been shitting on PD a lot this season, the first 19 games. But I don't know if you've noticed that I've kind of gone back on the PD train a little bit, kind of defending him a little bit because just looking at the stats itself, look at how many block shots he has this year compared to last year. Like, I think after 15, 16 games, if you use that shot block total and you use an 82 game, pace, the guy's going to be at like 175 block shots for the year. That's insane. I think even last year he only had like 70 or 80. He's almost averaging 2 blocks a game this year so far. So with all that said, like, he's sacrificing his body. Yeah, it doesn't bode well with the fan base because of all the injuries, but who else is there to defend right now? Like Marcus Pettersson, he's not doing very well defensively, and it's not like him. We don't have Bluger there. We don't have Pia Suter, who was probably first on ice for penalty kill. So he was thrown into this, and we have to understand that, like what Tyler was saying, if we were able to get someone like Camp, then that lessens all those defensive starts. Then PD doesn't need to use his body and he can focus more on the offense as opposed to the defense. If he focuses on the offense and still gives us that defensive side of things, dude, he's going to be worth that 11.6. And I'm only saying this because of the effort that he's given. And I'm just going to say it the way I see it because I've been shitting on him all season so far. And now I'm kind of, defending him. Is because of all the stats that are there for him.
We'll do 1, 2, 3. Do 4 more comments. This is actually a good one. From Harry. Would you trade P.O. Joseph for Troy Stecher? You mentioned Stecher earlier. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm intrigued for sure. Like my ears perked up when I saw that. When I saw this, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, but I mean, I would maybe consider it. I don't know if it's a full blown yes for me, but I'd maybe like consider it depending on like, what the package is and whatnot. But I guess you don't really need to trade for Stetcher because he got put on waivers.
No, I think he cleared already.
Oh, you already cleared?
Well, I think he'll clear tomorrow.
All right.
Because he was dropped today. So if Canucks claimed him tonight or today, then yeah. But I personally think that the time has passed. The reunion's over. I don't think he wants to come back because if not, he wouldn't have gone to Arizona. He wouldn't have signed in Detroit. And I think his time, if Oilers are waiving him, then yeah. Because if you put it this way, if we waive POJ, tons of teams are going to be after him because he is that guy that sits in the press and can fill in when injuries happen, right? Stetcher, yeah, he's a little small and he has that offensive side. I remember watching him at the game, Richmond boy coming down, like running, gunning, and came down on breakaway, scored goals. But I think that was too long ago. I think it's too late.
There's this one about Camp. We kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but we may as well talk about it a little bit here. I do think he's a good fit, at least temporarily. It's like what Gerald literally just mentioned. He would help alleviate some the defensive draws from PD for sure. So that way he would be a good fit. He would be a good fit on the PK. He'd be like adding like another Teddy Bluger. Like if we clone Teddy Bluger, that's David Camp for you. He adds your some center depth.
No, but Camp is bigger. Camp is actually bigger.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. If you had like a bigger, Teddy Bluger. If Teddy Bluger was taller, he would be probably David Camp.
I think they're like 3 inches apart.
Yeah, I haven't actually looked at Camp's like his height and whatnot or his stats. I know he hasn't played an actual game this season. Because I went to go look up his stats and there's nothing for this season. I think he's played 4 games in the AHL and that's it. So, this one is going to be a good one. We're probably really going to talk about this one. What is a realistic package for Hughes from New Jersey?
Luke Hughes.
Yeah, definitely Luke Hughes for sure. I mean, I'd much rather get Jack, but I imagine New Jersey's not going to want to part with Jack. I mean, they might not even want to play with Luke either. So
if we jumped on this earlier, his so Jack's sophomore season, he was doing terrible. If the Canucks were like, "Hey, we'll take him off your hands," at that point, bro, that would be so nice because at that point, I think he had like 50 points for that season. He couldn't score. He couldn't even buy a goal. It was that bad. And then all of a sudden, I think his third year, he just woke up and he was like, boom, he was top of the league kind of thing. But now, no. Like I don't even know what they would get. Like, what would you offer? What could Jersey offer that we would be like, okay, we'll take it? Look, Dougie Hamilton and like a first round pick and like I don't know, like Andre Palat. Like I don't even know like what kind of players like you would take from Jersey or Jersey would be willing to offer in terms of like a roster player. I haven't looked into their prospects,
maybe
but
Nemec.
yeah.
Maybe Nemec.
Nemec.
I know his
Okay.
name has floated around. And I do like him. I think he had a crazy game. I think was it a few nights ago or something. That's ultimately, but yeah, definitely name it. Nemec is a name. But other
Nemec
than
was a
that,
first rounder too, right? Wasn't he?
yeah,
I think he was a first round pick, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I can't really think of anyone else other than Nemec. But it probably starts with that. If at least if I were the Canucks and wanting to have conversations with the Devils, it starts with Nemec and possibly Luke as well.
How about we don't look at New Jersey? What would you think is a fair trade for Hughes? Any team. Like what sort of picks or what sort of pieces do you think Hughes could fetch? Let's say at the trade deadline this year.
Let me quickly look it up.
Okay. How about I tell you what I think and then you can look up what you think. Okay. So for a generational defenseman, even though he's kind of checked out right now with his numbers and with everything that he's done in the last 2-3 years, he is a Norris caliber defenseman that came in second twice and won it once. So for someone like that to be traded, it's like you're kind of looking at if Nicholas Lidstrom were to be traded back in the day, who would you offer kind of thing. I think that an unprotected first is a non-negotiable. Like it has to be. Then you'd have like if we were to do it this season and he's like, okay, I'm just done with this. I don't want to do this. And we do it at the trade deadline this season, he still has one more year on contract until his UFA, which comes in the following season. So technically, whatever team that picks him up has 2 playoff runs with Huggy. So a first, a second that covers that extra year. We need like a 2C and a roster defenseman or prospect that is almost ready to come up. We don't technically really need the roster D because we have Lander, we have Mancini, we have DPD. So I think defensively, I think we're good. I think we need a bit more center prospects. So maybe like a 2C and another center prospect, a first, a second, and maybe like a late round pick. I would say 4 to 5 pieces. What do you think?
Just looking at the Devils' roster, I mentioned already Nemec, so that would be part of my package. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say 2 firsts. Because the Devils do have first round picks in 26, 27, and 28. So I would probably want at least 2 first round picks. Nemec, and then if they were willing, Luke. If not, and to your point about like a 2C or a center, just looking at their depth chart or their roster breakdown, probably Dawson Mercer stands out for me when it comes to center.
But Dawson Mercer is more like a 3C.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't see anyone else who appeals when it comes to at least like just looking at the centers. Like obviously the Devils aren't going to give up Heischer, or Jack for that matter, and that's their top 2 Cs. You're probably not going to get Bratt, and I was looking at Timo Meier, but he's a winger.
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't really have a whole lot when it comes
There's
to
nothing,
centers.
and they also need all those players for the run.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very hard for them to trade for Hughes right now if they also want to do well in the playoffs. Like it's,
Yeah.
I don't think it will materialize.
No, which is probably why they're wanting to wait till he becomes a free agent.
Exactly. But Tyler, can you do me a quick favor? Can you look up what it would cost to sign an RFA that is $10 million?
Okay.
Like what the compensation would be. I think it's 3 first round picks. If I'm not mistaken. I think it could be 2 first rounds, a second, third, or it could be 3 first rounds, 2 seconds, and a third. I don't know. Actually, you tell me. I can't remember entirely.
Just looking.
Six.
Says here compensation is 4 first round picks for contracts
Four.
over $11.7 million.
And then just under that?
I don't see anything on. I think under it says AAV of less than 1.5 requires none. Between 1.5 and 2.3 requires a third. Here, let me see if I can, because I'm just on Google here. Maybe here I'll just Google offer sheet.
I guess maybe like 4 first round picks. So if you look at it, 4 first round picks for, because you said 11.7, right? So Huggy's definitely well over that, right? So the starting point would be 4 first round picks. So what I said would be 4 pieces, would be a first, a second, a 2C, and another roster player, or another very good prospect. So those are the 4 pieces.
So
or maybe 2 prospects. We'll see.
Between 9 and 11, it's 2 first round picks, 1 second round pick, and 1 third round pick. And
yeah, so 4 pieces again too.
The tier above is just the 4 first round picks.
Yeah, so minimum 4 pieces. Minimum 4 pieces for Huggy, especially on the contract that he's on. He's at 7.85 for 2 more years. Like, how do you sign a defenseman like that for 2 years? So I would go for 5 pieces, not 4, 5 for that extra year that he's signed for.
So yeah, just a couple more comments. I know a bunch more have come through, but I highlighted a few. I wanted to highlight this one. Connor, I've been chatting with you guys and had no idea I was unsubbed. Well, there you go. Thank you very much, Connor. Appreciate it. Appreciate the subscription. We'll obviously have you on the show a lot more. I've actually also been talking to Rain as well. I'm hoping to get Rain on and I was actually kind of thinking about doing like a hot takes segment video, like just full video of just me and Rain just spitting out hot takes. So
Love
that's
Rain.
going to be coming soon. I'm not sure when. Probably wait till after what goes on with this podcast network. I'll wait till after that. But yeah, that is definitely in the pipeline coming up. Where is this one? This one from and then here, this will be the last one. Figured I'd go with Justin to end it off here. And especially PD related too. PD is turning the corner lately offensively, but today his shift in OT was a bit unlucky.
Yeah.
Lost a face-off and stick and gave a great chance to Ehlers, which Lincoln had bailed him out on. Yeah, exactly. And then just being turned inside out by Aho. Losing his check and allowing him to skate to the slot for the winner. Yeah. Definitely not a good overtime for PD, but other than the overtime, I think PD played a pretty solid game tonight, which we don't get to say very often, which I am actually glad that we're able to say it. See, I'm not a full-on PD hater. He just aggravates me like most people, but when he plays a good game, I'll say he played a good game. This is what, like, back-to-back multi-point nights for PD. Obviously he's gonna need to step it up even more if he wants to get to that like 60-point threshold. I think he's on pace for like 54 or just under 60 points. So hopefully he can, pick up the pace and is able to show more of what we saw tonight, especially with that shorthanded goal for sure. But yeah,
it will
go ahead.
come. It will come. It's just when people need to understand and realize that it takes so much effort and so much more to play defense. It's just, it tires you out so much quicker that, the amount of defensive assignments that he has, if you lessen that, it gives him more opportunity on the offensive side. So we definitely need Bluger back. But if we can get someone like Camp, then it kind of solves the issue. And if you look at it, his game will come back at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's how I feel.
I know I said last one, but I really liked, I didn't see this from Justin. I guess when we were talking about, the trade package for New Jersey. So this will be the official last comment. Normally Mercer. I would say Nemec, Mercer, a first and a second. But now with everyone knowing Hughes is on a timer, he could walk his value, could go down. So maybe just a first, second, and Nemec. Yeah.
No, but you have to understand if he has that extra year. Like if it was next year, okay, I understand. But if it's right now at the trade deadline or before the trade deadline this year, there has to be minimum 4 pieces. We're giving an extra year at 7.85 when his market value, dude, he's getting paid less than Luke Hughes. Luke Hughes is getting paid 9. So think about that extra benefit. There's no way it's less than 4 pieces. No way, no way in hell, man.
Yeah, it would be pretty silly if the Canucks even, entertain that. Like they gotta, get, like, maximize whatever you get for Quinn Hughes. And he's gotta bring you a haul, because you can't really replace Quinn Hughes. Everyone knows that. But I guess that's gonna do it for the post-game show. Any final thoughts? Last word, Gerald?
No, I think we're good. I think I've said everything. I just think Lanky needs to work on his rebound control, and that's about it.
Yeah, definitely. I was literally watching the game and half tempted to actually live tweet about that, but I ended up live tweeting about Kane instead. But yeah, I definitely noticed that his rebound, especially on a couple chances. What was it? I think, what is it? Second or third period? There was that one chance where the Carolina player whipped on the puck. I was like, oh, you got lucky.
You got lucky. Yeah. So lucky. I mean, in general, I think Lanky played quite well. Like he made some great saves. Like
Mhm.
if Lanky didn't play, like if it wasn't for Lanky tonight, the score would be way more tilted. It wouldn't have gone
Yeah.
to overtime. So I'm not saying that Lanky's not a great goalie. It's just if he works on his rebound control, the Canucks could be doing a lot better. They could have came out with a win today
Yeah.
instead of a overtime loss.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
it's definitely one of his better games
Mhm.
so far this season. It's just a shame that the rebound control's not there, and it stands out very like a sore thumb. Like it just those OTs that he loses in overtime because of a goddamn rebound. That pisses me off, right? Like you're better than that, right? So as long as he works on that, good. Like we don't have to worry as much with all the injuries that are happening right now. If you're trying to play to be that first goalie, like that starter goalie, then that needs a bit of fixing. But overall, it was a great game for him. Same as
Mhm.
Pete.
Definitely. I mean that glove save he made. Wow.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Like Luongo vibes for sure. With that one. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Gerald, once again, thank you for coming on.
Thank you
As
for having
always,
me.
I always appreciate it. You know I always do. I was actually literally waiting for your message, going like post game. Actually, now that I think about it, kind of makes me think of Ninja Turtle. I don't know. Have you ever watched the original like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from back in the day?
Yeah.
Uh, you know how there's that one scene, going like pork rhyme, pork rhyme. That's what that just reminded me of. Post game,
Okay.
post game.
Okay.
But yeah, sorry, that was a little random. But it popped into my
I
head.
don't think a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people understand that reference, but I do. Yeah.
Well,
I think
if you
they'll
have,
understand. Yeah.
if you have, if you have, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you. Appreciate being on here. Thanks for I'll plug my Movember thing at on the comments if you're rewatching this. Or if you are looking for the link, it will be on this video after Tyler posts it up on here on YouTube. But thanks again in advance for the donations. If you have more questions about Movember, please reach out and let's make a change and help men around the world with mental health. And that's it. Thank you. We'll see you at the next game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Once again, thanks for coming on. Always appreciate you coming on. So, always have a blast talking hockey, even with my terrible computer issues as of late. I am looking at getting a new computer, hopefully over the holidays. So, but yeah, once again, thanks for coming on, Gerald. But if you guys want to stay up to date on all your Canucks content, be sure to hit that like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a single video, especially those videos that I said are going to be out tomorrow. You can find us on social media we're everywhere on social media, except for Threads, because I don't believe in that one. But yeah, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, you guys know the links. Feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. As I mentioned earlier, we're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts as well. Feel free to give us a follow on Spotify and leave us a rate and review like Duolingo has done, which really helps out the podcast on Spotify. And yeah, that's going to do it for our post-game show. So from me, Tyler, to Gerald, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.